As far as I can remember, the Lord gave me and my wife the compassion to pray and give for Israel as early as the church paved and literally opened the door to pray for our dear Jewish brothers and sisters, both Messianic and non-Messianic alike. Through our spiritual father and director, Apostle Joshua Blas, I vividly recall that we had this then a once-a-month midweek fellowship dedicated for Israel called Jerusalem House of Prayer for All Nations, or JOPAN, where we came to the Lord, sang Jewish songs, to be with them in spirit, in prayers, intercession, and celebrated the presence of God in the tune and melodies of Hebrew songs. We were then in our late 20s and 30s before the dawn of New Millennium, year 2000. Being so heavily inclined to worship, I was so fascinated with the songs that were inspired by biblical truths and melodies related to Israel. And so our prayer and giving so filled with the burden to pray for their cause. Later, after a few years or more, I believe JGWMI became an active prayer partner for ICEJ, which stands for International Christian Embassy for Jerusalem, which we still are until today, where our dear apostle plays a big role. Of course, until now, we continue to support in our regular Rosh Chodesh celebrations and intercessions, and even before the pandemic, we joined in celebrating the Rosh Hashanah, the Feast of Tabernacles, and the like. With the grace of continuously giving to the Lord and for Israel, I and my family, with only our son yet that time, who was barely a toddler, had been blessed for an international temporary assignment in the United States for a couple of years, straight from 2003 to 2005 on 3 different states: Arizona, Oregon, and California. Being an official business travel, allowances, accommodations, apartment, rental car, and expenses were all provided with the company, while my salary continued in the Philippines since I was still a local employee at the Philippines site. We enjoyed the goodness and faithfulness of God. And there's more. In the middle to the end of those travels, I was also blessed with this very great opportunity and privilege to visit Israel in the flesh, having an engineering site in Haifa, Israel, or the place of Mount Carmel, where the prophet Elijah defeated the prophets of Baal. Not only once, but twice, both in the same year 2005, February and November, I experienced the air, the culture, the magnificence of being in the place where the Lord Jesus and the disciples walked, and all distinguished and biblical heroes, men and women of faith. I literally walked in the streets of Jerusalem, Nazareth, Haifa, prayed towards the Western Wailing Wall itself, roamed around the Tel Aviv, and conversed with the Israeli locals for a period of 2 one-month business travels. I was able to insert personal prayers and even prayer petitions from the brethren that time into the cracks of the stones of the Wailing Wall, and it felt like I was literally in touch and connected with God. Although, of course, we know that our God is not limited by time and space, and God is everywhere. The goodness of God was so prevalent that times, from 2005 until 2012, I was traveling among different countries every year: China, Malaysia, Thailand, US, and Israel. Then pandemic came, and God was so very faithful that my new company was still thriving and still earning revenues in the middle of pandemic. In fact, we continuously hit record-breaking revenues in the middle of the pandemic, until now that we are not yet completely through with the pandemic. Just this year, another super blessing came, and I have been accepted to work in Europe, where I would be able to bring my family. We are working on papers now, and hopefully in the grace of God can set our feet abroad as family before the year ends. Abrahamic covenant in Genesis 12 verses 1 to 3 really holds true in our life, that whoever blesses Israel will really be blessed. I highly encourage you, brethren, to plant seeds of faith by giving and giving to the Lord, and also praying and giving for Israel. And you will be overwhelmed when God pays back. Guaranteed. Ako nga pala si Brother Roland Aurelio from Cavite 1 District. Katulad nyo na lingkod ng Diyos at patuloy na nagmamahal sa Israel. Nagsasabing tapat ang Diyos na tumawag sa atin, ang Diyos ni Abraham, Diyos ni Isaac, Diyos ni Jacob, at Diyos ng Aurelio family. Purihin ang Panginoon.